Gosh, how the heck I mute myself here? I was saying simply that the game is not short. According to long play, like 6 hours, okay, more than 5 hours left. Hold on. This means that maybe no, not even 2 streams is enough. Maybe I need even more. I have no idea. April 1st is actually today? Yeah, for me it's today. For you it's already the next day, of course. Now let me check the sound. Because I didn't check the sound before talking. Test. Yeah, it's working. Actually, I'm playing here for 32 hours. The long play was 28 hours. And I remember that I restarted one of the cases because I completely failed. So I saved some time here. As for Layton's daughter, I still don't know who it is in anime. She really a daughter? Maybe not. Maybe she's fake. Again, I save in the middle of the case. Why the heck is starting from there? And I forgot to change the temperature. But alright. New job bonuses in GTA Online. When they release GTA 6, Online definitely will change. Maybe it will be GTA Online 2? Or something like this. Like it happened, for example, with Overwatch. That's Overwatch 2. No Overwatch 1. No online at all. Graphics supposed to change. Okay. This means that you'll need a new GPU to play the game. Online game. I remember when in the past I was able to play World of Warcraft on some Radeon graphic cards. It didn't have any PCI. It was something else. But nowadays, graphic is almost the same, but you cannot run it on even... I don't know... 1050 GTX. Well, obviously on maximum settings. I'm not talking about minimal something. Current is now once again in session. However, I must say, I'm quite surprised at this recent turn of events. MX 400? Was it NVIDIA? I definitely had something like Radeon 9600. Approximately. Not sure. The same is Kira at the witness stand once again. Frankly, I cannot believe my eyes. You were most certainly sent to the flames as a witch. That's right. I was there, I saw it. She most certainly was. Then how? How is she still alive? Is it because she's a witch? Can witches not die? So that MX was NVIDIA game cards. No, she must have used. How they decide to pronounce it? I still pronounce it Dimire because it's Dimire. It's E, it's A, like in Japanese language. And managed just in time. Say send you straight to the fire. We'll do it ourselves if we have to. Enough. A witch must be in possession of a Talia Magica in order to use magic. Hate to disappoint you all, but do you see such a thing on her person? I think not. But she must have. Listen, if they decide to burn somebody right here in this courthouse, the person will not be safe because It was different courthouse that had this secret passageway, etc. That girl must have used the mirror. Surely you can see that, High Inquisitor. So he was a mirror, so it's the mirror? I still don't like English spelling. The mirror is a spell able to make someone disappear from sight. Cannot make one vanish entirely. And besides, an investigation conducted by the Knights of the Inquisition has concluded that this girl is not capable of using magic. Listen well, Miss Kira. Your existence alone jeopardizes the very piece of Labyrinthia, yet, given the current situation, it is now imperative that you testify to this court regarding what you saw. Immediately.
Objection!
That will not be necessary. What? This girl has already been convicted and tried as a witch in a previous trial. What good could come of your testimony?
Objection!
But she was found hiding at the crime scene. I'd say that makes you a very important witness. A witness whose testimony we cannot choose to ignore. High Inquisitor Darko, I'm afraid your objection is overruled. You wish to proceed then? Very well. Let's see just how much of your story this girl's willing to tell the court, shall we? There's no doubt about it. Miss Kira must have escaped through the passage leading under the Chamber of Fire. Although, from the looks of it, the judge doesn't have a clue that escape routes even exists. I wish he'd hurry up and get the hints. I'm going to take this helmet off already. The top of my head really itches. Sorry, man. Take that thing off now, and we're as good as done. Just hang in there a little while longer. Very well, witness. You may begin your testimony. Explain to the court how you are standing here in court today, and why you were hiding at the crime scene. You should tell anything at all. I'm not familiar with this Kira you keep talking about. Came from the Eldritch Woods. He came to the stone to summon forth the Fire Dragon and kill the storyteller. As I trained, I waited near the bell tower, next to Vigilantes, for my chance. So case closed, she killed him. I was only there to carry out my orders. Don't know anything else outside of that. You came here to kill the storyteller? Yes, that was my task.
Objection!
Keep in mind, this girl was not the one who summoned the Fire Dragon in the end. It was the accused. As I warned you earlier, there's nothing to be gained from this witch testimony.
Objection!
Now hold on. She was still present at the scene of the crime with the intent to murder the storyteller. And the defense insists we be permitted to continue with our cross-examination on those grounds. Darklo is really trying to weasel her way out of this cross-examination. That means there has to be something there. I must admit, I too am extremely interested hearing what this witness has to say. Defender, you may begin your interrogation. Listen, but they were saying that nothing exists behind the walls. But now there's Eldritch Woods, okay. Like nobody questioned it. Waited near the bell tower next to Vigilantes. My chance. Let's see.
Hold it!
Hold it, right there, Miss Kira. You snuck right past the vigilantes? Yes. And why the heck she interrupted the girls of each? Therefore, something as simple as vanishing from sight of child's from sight is child's play. Isn't it right, Venus? Yes, that is correct. I remember now. Just a few days ago, this girl used that very vanishing spell, the mirror, if memory serves. Well, what are you looking at, witness? Continue with your testimony. What was that just now? I could swear I just saw Kira's face turn even paler than normal.
Hold it!
Did you just say fire dragon? Yes, it was all a part of my orders. I was told to come here this evening and wait for the right moment when the Stratora would appear before the people. Only then was I supposed to shout out the incantation as loud as possible. A great beast from the inferno hit my call, Cranwyrm. So she used only incantation but never used any actual spells. No scepter, no gems. I believe this verse repeated. The girl does not possess a scepter. It is impossible for her to summon any sort of magical dragon. Yes, quite right, Inquisitor. He was afraid that she's summoning it right now. I didn't get it at first. Then why you hiding underneath the bench, Your Honor? Yes, well, it is as I thought then. She could not have cast the spell. I believe I've made it perfectly clear. The girl is not the Great Witch Bezella. Naturally, the Great Witch is that girl there, Spella Cantabella. There can be no other. Well, she's supposed to prove it by using some magic, no?
Hold it!
You say you're not familiar with the name Kira? Yes, I've never heard of it before. But I see that's your name, young lady. Honestly, what witchery is this? I have no name. I'm simply a resident of the Eldritch Woods, nothing more. Eldritch Woods? The very same woods say to house the souls of the witches sent to the flames? Are you telling me they really exist? No matter how you look at her, the Kira up on that witness stand doesn't look like much of a soul to me. The girl has lost all memory of ever being a flora seller. That is all. If that's the case, then I wonder if she even remembers our running back at the marketplace. Say, Miss Kira, do you happen to remember me at all? No, I do not know you. I first saw you just now at the bell tower. But it's definitely a lie. What do I even have right now? Nothing.
Hold it!
Miss Kira, who exactly gave you your orders? I cannot say. And why is that? I am not to disclose the identity of the one who has given me my orders. That in itself is an order. How convenient. I'm only supposed to carry out my orders, nothing more. I do not know anything else. And besides, there's nothing more that I can really do. Nothing more she can do? But, hold on just a minute. Surely you're capable of using magic. You are a witch, are you not? am not a witch. What did you just say? I cannot use magic. She can't use magic? This girl is a witch. Every person in this courtroom knows that as a matter of fact. There can be nary a doubt. Doesn't look like there's much to work with. Even though she just finished explaining everything, I still don't fully understand. Oh man, Nick, you don't think this Kira is actually some sort of a crazy magical zombie, do you? Maya, you went through the same thing as Kira. Did you become a magical zombie? Oh yeah, I guess not. Luke and I couldn't believe it was Kira when we ran into her in the marketplace. I mean, we thought for sure she was a goner back at the trial. Don't think I'm far off though. This Kira is way different than the old Kira. It looks like she doesn't remember a thing. She's almost like another person entirely. But what if that's just it, Maya? What if the Kira right here, right now, is the real Kira, and the old Kira wasn't? The real Kira? Or the opposite? Yeah, and that's why I think I'm bound to find something useful in her testimony. You can do this, Nick. I hope you're ready to slam on some desks. Because we are gonna do some serious pressing here. First of all, let me check everything that I have right now. Actually, doubt I need any spells here. But let me check them as well. Yeah. The farm girl supposedly burned for witchcraft, amnesiac, was hiding in the belfry. Can't see anything. Supposedly she used this pendant. So is it even possible to read what this is? No. The rope was huge, but Kira is actually small. It's not hers. As I trained, I waited near the bell tower. And so what? Check one more time on this scene. She's not familiar with this Kira you keep talking about. Do I have anything here for this statement? Maybe not.
Hold it!
Grandworm. Grandworm. Nothing special.
Hold it!
What she was trying to say when she was interrupted. What? Wait a second. If I press it second time, there'll be something else? Press further. Miss Kira, I have one simple question for you. You stated earlier in your testimony that you snuck past the vigilantes, got on the bell tower, and went right inside. So looks like if I press something else and return back there, I'll get something new? Tell me, did you use the spell Demir to get by them? That must certainly be the case. Had she not, she would surely have been spotted.
Objection!
But remember what she let slip just a moment or two ago. She denied being a witch and said that she cannot use magic. Therefore, if that's true, then you, Miss Kira, would not have been able to use Demir at all.
Objection!
What a ridiculous argument. How else would this girl have been able to walk right into the bell tower unnoticed by the guards? Explain that.
Objection!
I have a better idea. How about you have the witness herself explain it to you? What do you say, Miss Kira? I am not a witch. And I cannot use magic. So then, exactly how were you able to ascend the bell tower without being noticed? Witness, amend your testimony this instant. Okay. What's going on? There got to be another way she got into that bell tower unseen, but other than magic, I have no idea what that could be. I was wearing the robe of invisibility, so no one was able to see me there.
Hold it!
Wait just a second. Did you just say robe of invisibility? Yes, that is correct. A robe of invisibility? Surely you don't mean a robe that can make one vanish from sight when worn? Yes, that is correct. What? Miss Kira, do you have that robe on you right now? I don't have it. That is, I dropped it back at the bell tower. Where did you get the flower? What the heck was that? Why was Kira looking over at Darkglow when she spoke just now? Are you listening to this first, my lord? Surely you do not give any credence to this witness testimony. Especially to this preposterous notion of a rope of invisibility. Indeed. I must say, witness, that is quite an unbelievable story.
Objection!
So before the artifacts didn't exist in this world? Don't think I it's that crazy, Honor. What? If something like magic can exist, the chances of a rope of invisibility being real are pretty high, wouldn't you say?
Objection!
If such is the case, then how about you put your evidence where your mouth is? Prove that this rope of invisibility exists. Prove it? What say you, Defender? Can you prove to the court that the rope of invisibility does, in fact, exist? What? Yes, Your Honor. The defense believes it has evidence to prove the rope's existence. Oh, I'm not surprised. Ridiculous Defender only begets whatever ridiculous arguments. Begets? No idea. But admit, an invisible rope does sound pretty far-fetched in full labyrinthian. What? If there's even the slightest possibility this evidence is right, then I've got to try it. Very well. Defender, please show the court this evidence. Show us the piece of evidence that proves the existence of this rope. Okay, it's understandable magic does not exist.
Take that!
There was in fact a rope dropped and left at the crime scene tonight. A rope? Miss Kira, that rope of invisibility that you mentioned earlier wouldn't happen to be this one right here, would it?
Objection!
How ludicrous. Are you trying to tell the court that is the rope of invisibility? If it's really a rope of invisibility, then how is it we can see it right now? Dirty white spots and all. Well, she's kinda got a point there. Oh hey, what if the rope actually disappears when you wear it? Cute here, Nick. Watching wonder as Maya the Magnificent disappears before your very eyes. Will it work? It did not. So, are you amazed yet? Yeah, amazed at how totally ridiculous you look in that. What gives? This thing must be busted or something. It didn't disappear at all. Well, that's not it. No. No. Tonight, at the bell tower, I was wearing that robe. What did you see? Order! I said order! But how's it possible? The rope did not disappear at all just now. It's because of the white powder on it. It's usually not that dirty. You mean this spot here? Please don't tell me. Oh yeah, but you totally unloaded an entire bag of flour. A flour onto those nights, remember? That's a strange spelling, I must say. Not to mention it was still raining when we were up there. The flour must have gotten nice and wet, so it stained the rope. Say, what if we try washing the flour off? There's a small water fountain at the edge of the square. Head there right now and wash the rope so that we can get to the bottom of this. Quickly now. Still think that magic does not exist. Alright, this shouldn't be too hard. Take note, Nick. This is how you do the laundry. See, all you have to do is throw the rope into the water like so. Wait, what? So, do you see anything, Maya? The rope disappeared. That's just it. I don't see a thing, it's disappeared. What? I frantically took a close look at the water in the fountain. But the rope had actually vanished without a trace, right there inside the fountain. It's still not a magic. Could simply dissolve. Defender, what is the meaning of this? How could you have lost such a vital piece of evidence? You know, it was on purpose. Trust me, I wish I knew how it happened. Can't believe it. The rope actually disappeared from sight. Don't quite know what you're talking about. I can still see the rope just fine. Huh? Look, it's right here, see? What? No, Skira, I really don't see, because there's nothing to see. So, is how it works? Putting the rope on makes you disappear completely from sight, but from the looks of it, only Kira is able to actually see the rope itself. It's not just me. It's all inhabitants of Eldritch Woods. All of us can see the rope. But then, where can she see it if they lost it somewhere in the fountain? Our village lies deep within the recesses of the forest, in a world much different from this one. It's where I live. As long as we obey the law of the land, we are allowed to live there. And if they are not obeying what's happening, I knew it. There's definitely something different about Kira compared to the rest of the townspeople here. For the time being, seeing as only the witness can see the rope, we'll carry it in floor again for the sake of visibility. Kinda strange. But there's still one tiny thing bothering me. Miss Kira, your rope was found on the middle floor of the bell tower, the same floor where we found my client. However, you were hiding on the uppermost level of the bell tower. You testified a little while ago that you dropped your rope, but I have to wonder, what exactly were you doing there, on the top floor? It would seem there's still much we must ask this witness. What say you, High Inquisitor Darklaw? Is the Inquisition's duty to follow Millard's decision on such matters? I have no objections. Very well, witness, you're hereby ordered to continue with your testimony. Tell us what happened between your sneaking up to the top floor of the bell tower and tonight's most terrible crime. Yes, okay. I was waiting on the middle floor of the tower. I started to turn around, but I was too late. They attacked me from behind. There was nothing I could do. My arm was restrained, and the attacker caught my mouth. As I struggled to get away, I think I managed to pull something off of my attacker. That's when I lost consciousness. Woke up to find myself next to the bell on the top floor of the tower. What? It is. Are you saying someone attacked you while you were in the bell tower? Yes, that is correct. But who? I don't know. They attacked me from behind, so I couldn't see who it was. So you were unconscious the entire time after that? That's why I was unable to complete my mission. But even if I hadn't been unconscious, I couldn't have done anything trapped high up in the belfry like that. So she didn't say this incantation? Not sure. What if that word's contraption we found there was used to move Kira up to the belfry. At least I can't see any other way she could have got up there. You heard the witness. She was locked up in the belfry of the tower. In other words, she couldn't have had anything to do with tonight's events. Why was she sent here in the first place? Therefore, there's no need for this utterly useless interrogation.
Objection!
Not so fast. The witness also testified that someone attacked you tonight. Defender, are you implying that this attacker could have been Bezella? I cannot say for certain, Your Honor. Regardless, the defense requests we be allowed to cross-examine this witness. Request granted. Now then, defender, you may begin your interrogation. And here's where the fun begins. Let's see if we can coax this mysterious second witch out of hiding. Why are you doing this?
Hold it!
What exactly did you pull off? I was still really dazed at the time, so I can't remember it very well, but when I flung my hand up, I felt myself grab a small, round object. Must have pulled it off without thinking. Felt whatever it was snapped right off. So from what you're saying, it sounds like this could have been something that was on your attacker's person? I think so. Can still feel it, even now. It felt like I'll just snapped a piece of rope or something. I really wonder what that could have been. I think I would recognize the shape if I saw it. She'll recognize the shape if she saw it? If only we had something that could trigger her memory. Should I show her this pendant? And all we'll have to do is present it. We'll be in business. Yeah, tell me about it. You know, that might not be such a bad idea, Maya. Let's show it.
Objection!
Miss Kira, you stated that you felt yourself snap something off of your attacker. Would that thing, by any chance, be this right here? That's it. I recognized that shape. That was the object I grabbed. Do you see? But that's the accused pendant? Is it not? It is not. Not quite, Your Honor. There are actually two pendants like this. The one you see here is the counterpart to Miss Cantabella's pendant. Now that they mention it, I remember. The necklace was actually very tough. It really didn't rip right off so easily. So I struggled against it, tugging and pulling it for a bit, and I must have scratched their neck in the process. Wait a second, you mean you scratched your attacker's neck? I think so, but I don't know for sure. Nick, in that case... That means the dark stuff on the necklace could be... Yeah, it could be the attacker's blood. You scratch your neck like this, that there's huge amount of blood coming from it. This person's supposed to be dead already. And the court can clearly see there's still traces of blood left on the necklace itself, however. Take one good look at my client and you'll notice there are no visible scars or cuts of any kind around her neck. Ergo, there's no way Miss Cantabella could be Miss Kira's attacker, so there were actually 3 people here. In this tower, not just 2.
Objection!
Nice try, defender, but I must stop you right there. Have you already forgotten what I told you? The Great Witch can use any spell in existence. She could have easily healed any such wound in the blink of an eye. Plus look. Can't believe I'm saying this, but I already miss Inquisitor Burnham. Man, you really can catch a break on this one, huh, Nick? Let us resume the interrogation. Witness, continue with your testimony. Wait a second, if they're thinking that British Bezella can use any spell at any point of time without any problem, shouldn't be afraid that she'll kill them all right now here, using this dragon? So I have this one updated. And so what? Very strange. You need to press all the statements here. So far I pressed only one. This one. Good there. Update. Let me save first of all. Just in case. And take a pause here for a minute. Be right back. Well, hello, awesome. Pull something off my attacker. And my arm was strained. But why only one arm?
Hold it!
Was the person male or female? Are you not sure? No, I didn't ask their gender. I don't remember much. But I didn't know the person easily overpowered me. I remember they grabbed my left wrist. I tried to scream, but they quickly caught my mouth. before I had a chance. Desperately I tried to break their hull, but it was no good. Sounds like the attacker managed to restrict their movements from behind. Still saying that, there's definitely something not right here, obviously. Something about her testimony just doesn't add up. Yeah, something about it is a tiny bit different from what you heard so far. I think it'll be a good idea to check the court record again, Nick. Yet again, it's what I don't like. When you press and you learn something new that's hinting you what to do. But I don't need any hints.
Objection!
Miss Kira, there's something a little strange about your testimony just now, wouldn't you? Wouldn't you say? But again, at the same time, it's how it was playing the first game. I was trying not to press anything but just show evidence. But sometimes you must press the statement to continue the story. You cannot just show the evidence if you really know that it will work. No, the script is different. But again, if you press every single statement, you'll get too many hints and it will be too easy. Where's the challenge? Challenge is no more. So it's not very well balanced. It would be nice if pressing was only for getting hints, and if you don't want any hints, you can just present the evidence. You stated that you were attacked from behind, and that the attacker grabbed you by the wrist, correct? Yes, that's right. Assuming that was in fact the case, then I'll say no matter how much you struggled, there's no way you would have been able to yank off this pendant, don't you think? The strap of this pendant is too short. There's no way you could have reached behind you and managed to pull it off. It's a good point. Miss Kira, the only way you would have been able to yank this pendant off of your attacker is if they were standing directly in front of you. No. Why are you hiding? Who was this? Other I say, witness, is this true?
Objection!
The witness was the victim of a physical attack. It's only natural that she'll be a bit confused on some of details.
Objection!
Inquisitor, I wouldn't exactly call mistaking the location of your attacker. Being a bit confused, but more of a barefaced lie. Well now, Defender, I see you are as pathetically short-sighted as ever. Your argument is only valid assuming that this girl here actually saw the attacker. If she was not able to see this person, I'll say it make no difference where they were standing. Then that means the attacker was also wearing one of these robes? That's impossible, Lord, and the witness already stated earlier. Only residents of the Eldritch Woods are able to see these robes. In short, the attacker must have been a witch and must have disappeared from sight with the use of magic. Must mean the Great Witch bestseller. There's one more thing proving the attacker to be a witch. Just what might that be? Witness has stated that she lost consciousness. If you take a look in the Grand Grimoire, you'll notice a spell called Painful. Witness, allow me to ask you, did you hear the incantation of the spell? Now that you mention it, I do remember hearing something like that. See what? It is painful causes those who heard the incantation to lose all consciousness. You must not forget the Great Witch can use any and all magic at will. Instant sleep spell causes those who hear the incantation to lose all consciousness. Its effect takes hold the second the incantation is heard. Here it is. I'm on your testimony to reflect this important piece of information. Yes, right away. Oh, I can't believe she managed to get out of that one. But still, not about to give up just yet. I'll keep on going until we finally get to the bottom of who this attacker really is. Now then, let us continue with the interrogation. Wait a second, but she's supposed to be under the spell already. So it's a lie.
Objection!
Miss Kira, I have watched you at that witness stand this entire trial, desperately trying to keep something hidden from the rest of the court. It would be wise to make them available to present this spell at every single statement, because every single statement here is incorrect because of the spell, but I doubt they did it. I wonder if you're familiar with the saying, a lie begets more lies. Begets? Whatever. It means multiple lies are bound to unravel and leave your story with more holes than Swiss cheese. Get to the point, defender. According to the Grand Grimoire, Painful causes a person to lose all consciousness. It's written here in black and white. But there's white. Don't say any white. Its effect takes hold the second the incantation is heard. Miss Kira, you testified as follows. You heard the incantation for Painful, immediately became aware of the presence of your attacker. You then put up a fight. But if you really did hear the incantation, there's no way you would be able to yam that pendant from your assailant. It's not even the end. Why this music? Order! Order! What is the meaning of this? The meaning is that Miss Kira didn't actually hear the incantation like she claims she did. But then why? Why on earth was this girl unconscious? Kira was definitely knocked out by whoever took her. And when she woke up, she found herself up on the top floor of the belt tower. It's possible Miss Kira was rendered unconscious by some kind of sleeping spell, something other than magic, or another witch. Not magic, of course. There's no magic here. The answer here is obvious. Something other than magic must have knocked you out.
Objection!
And what, may I ask, makes you so certain of that? Is it not possible that another spell could have been used?
Objection!
That's just not possible. You, of all people, should know that. What? Miss Kira's claim that she heard someone say the incantation is completely false. Even so, that wouldn't be too much of a problem if she actually had heard an incantation. That's right. However, going by her testimony, that can't have been the case. The only spell capable of making someone lose consciousness is Painful. Isn't that right, High Inquisitor Darklaw? Defender, are you claiming there's another way, besides magic, that could have been used to render Miss Kira unconscious? Like anything could. And only one other thing that crossed my mind, and speaking of course about sleeping medicine. Sleeping medicine? If you remember, Miss Kira stated that the attacker covered her mouth before she could scream. In doing that, the attacker was able to administer a potent sleep medicine, thus putting Miss Kira out like a light. But sleep medicine does not exist in this world. Indeed, that does make sense. Therefore, Your Honor, the attacker did not necessarily have to be Bezella. I mean, why would an all-powerful being capable of commanding any and all magic need to resort to Dragon Summon?
Objection!
Oh, that's right there, Defender. They managed to sneak past the guards, make their way up into the bell tower. Currently, they must have used magic to appear invisible.
Objection!
You don't need magic to make yourself disappear, High Inquisitor. Throw this on, and getting past those guards at the tower is a piece of cake. Drop of invisibility. But, despite all that, there's still one glaring problem. Miss Kira? Yes. You admitted to the court earlier that you were attacked from the front, correct? If that's the case, then there's only one possible conclusion we can draw. You, Miss Kira, were entirely capable of seeing your attacker's face. Why that I didn't? It's simple. You even said it yourself. Only residents of the Eldritch Woods are able to see this rope. That means, Miss Kira, there's a piece of this puzzle only you could possibly know. Only you can tell us the identity of the person who entered the bell tower and attacked you tonight. I can't tell you. No matter what happens. I just can't tell you, no matter what. You see, everyone, this witness has been covering up for someone from the very start of this trial. What? But luckily for us, we won't be needing any more of Miss Kira's testimony. In this case, if she's covering, why was she attacked in the first place? What was the point for attacker to do this? Because the answer is staring us right in the face. I'm speaking, of course, about the true identity of Miss Kira's attacker. I actually have no idea why he's singling someone, you know. I can say it's Darklaw, but why is she? Which clue? All the clues so far point to this one person. Which clues? Defender, I take it you prepared to prove such a serious accusation? I am? Alright, looks like it all comes down to this. Now we'll finally see who's been pulling the strings this whole time. Very well, Defender, tell the court. Who was the one responsible for attacking the witness and locking her up on the top floor of the bell tower? Eve? But why Darklaw?
Take that!
I have no idea. The answer is obvious, Your Honor. Well, it's obvious because of my suggestion during the whole game from the very beginning. But right now, in this case, I have no idea why. It was you, High Inquisitor Darklaw. What? Order in the court! Concealable. There's no way! I must say, Defender, your courage is impressive, however reckless you may be. Accusing a High Inquisitor is no small feat, I assure you. However, with serious accusations come serious consequences. One small misstep, and you'll personally see that you never set foot in this courtroom ever again. Mark my words, Defender. I understand. My, how confident. Let us see if that confidence of yours is well justified. Scarce attacker drug you with sleep medicine. It likely took no more than a few seconds for her to lose consciousness. The medicine must have been very potent. True, though its effects appear somewhat similar to magic. There's only one person I can think of in all of Labyrinthia who'd supply you with that kind of medicine. Sir Newton Belduke.
Objection!
Defender, are you aware that Sir Belduke has been deceased for over 3 months now? Are you not? That's a fact I am well aware of, believe me. While he was still alive, Sir Belduke provided the citizens of this town with a variety of medicines, whatever ailed them. But it wasn't all just medicine. He also created some very dangerous concoctions. That's why, after he passed away, all of his medicines and creations were confiscated. Confiscated? Inquisitor Burnham said as much in the last witch trial. Layton was an alchemist after all. We were hoping the items confiscated from his study could provide some clues. Besides, such things must not fall into the wrong hands. It may not be standard practice, but was deemed necessary. The confiscated goods are stored in our secret vault. The only person with access to them is the High Inquisitor, Lady Darklaw. Oh, this clue, I forgot completely about this. Really? That something was confiscated even.
Objection!
So, because I have access to the medicine, I must be the one that used it. Is that what you're getting at, Defender? That's right. Unfortunately for you, I would hardly call that proof. You said it yourself. Sir Belduke concocted a plethora of dangerous medicines in his efforts to assist the people of that town. He was well known for this fact, a fact that he no doubt was none too pleased with. As such, it is highly likely that those same dangerous substances are still scattered throughout the town. And therefore, Defender, it's entirely possible that the culprit was able to get their hands on such dangerous medicine. Indeed. How long has Sir Belduke's medicine played an active part in maintaining the health of the town's citizens? There's plenty of reason to believe some of his more dangerous medicines still remain within Labyrinthia. A piece of advice, Defender. The next time you speak in court, I recommend you try procuring some real evidence before spouting such idiotic accusations. If you fail to do so, your next words will be uttered to the flames. Figures, I knew she wouldn't take that argument sitting down. Both High Inquisitor Darklaw and Inquisitor Burnham are the very harbingers of justice within Labyrinthia. Raising such an accusation against either one of them without valid reason will result in the most severe punishments. What does he mean by the most severe of punishments? I think the judge is saying that if I don't start making a case, I'm gonna be paying Sir Belduke's abyssal son. Why is it here? There's always tons of people who above any law. Like, you cannot accuse some inquisitor or persecutor. Why so? I need to present some decisive evidence and fast. I'm pretty sure I should be able to do that much. Inquisitor Darklaw is the attacker, and the one thing that proves it is... I kinda don't know. A piece of evidence? Someone's profile? Or Darklaw herself? Is she high enough for the rope? Let's see. Someone's profiles. One thing that proves it is that she's the attacker. I don't see any evidence. Maybe it's Darklaw herself? Well, it's not possible to save here. Okay, Darklaw herself. The fans believed there's one clue here linking High Inquisitor Darklaw to the crime. High Inquisitor. That clue is actually still on you right now. Me? What is this? Must admit, I do not know where you are going with this defender, but this points out this clue to the card. Shows this clue supposedly still on the High Inquisitor's person. On your neck? Supposed to be on her neck. She cannot use magic. Gosh. Here?
Got it.
The High Inquisitor's neck? You don't mean... Miss Kira, young this pendant of her attacher's neck. Of her. Take a look at the necklace. It still has a bit of blood left on it. According to her early testimony, when Miss Kira pulled at the necklace, she supposedly felt herself scratch the attacker's neck. Is that correct, Miss Kira? Yes. Therefore, the attacker should still have a mark on their neck from having been scratched. Would you mind letting the court take a look at your neck, Inquisitor Darklaw? I'm pretty sure that underneath that high collar cravat, you'll find exactly the mark we are looking for. Unless, of course, you were able to get rid of it with magic. Most impressive. What? I have to say, Defender, you managed to finally hone that dull blade of yours into something of use. You're correct. There is, in fact, a mark on my neck that I didn't receive tonight. What? The heck? What's Darklaw? What's in the meaning of this? Doesn't that mean Lady Darklaw is the Great Witch? Your Honor? Yes, I see you still here, Defender. Your Honor, I know you're shocked and everything, but come on, work with me here. Your Honor, the defense would like to call High Inquisitor Darklaw to the witness stand. What did you just say? It's quite clear that the High Inquisitor has some connection to what transpired tonight. And what's more, there's a chance that she used her position of authority as High Inquisitor to frame my client as the Great Witch. But now in my years as judge of this court, has an Inquisitor been asked to take the stand in the middle of a trial? Well, we're gonna have to make some history here if we are finally going to find the truth, Your Honor. Even so, this trial cannot continue any further without an Inquisitor. Hey, in that case, how about you get Inquisitor Inquisitor Burnham remains incarcerated in the underground dungeons for the crime of treason against the storyteller. I don't think he will be able to make it to this party. No way. Most regrettable, Defender. The cutscene here? In 3D? This whole thing is hopeless unless High Inquisitor Darklaw takes to the witness stand. His spell will be done for, and the truth along with her. But on the other hand, why so low frame rate here? Without an Inquisitor on the other side, the trial can continue, and the outcome would end up the same. What should I do?
Hold it.
Layton will be the Inquisitor. Finally.
I believe I can fill that role.
Professor, wait, what are you saying?
I can prove, conclusively, that Espella Cantabella is, in fact, the Great Witch Bazella.
Finally it versus.
Now, Mr. Wright, the time has come at last to settle this once and for all.
We've been waiting for the professor to show up. If there was anyone who could find some decisive evidence to win this thing, it was him.
It was decisive. I was thinking it was decisive. Decisive. Gosh, English.
However, he ended up standing behind the Inquisitor's bench. The professor wasn't on our side here. I had to wonder, what the heck was going to happen?
To be continued. Alright. That was kind of fast.
Professor? But what are you doing?
What am I doing, Mr. Wright?
Yeah, you were supposed to show up with some decisive evidence and save the day, Professor.
I'm afraid my only concern here is the truth.
The truth?
The truth behind the real identity of the Great Witch, Espella Cantabella. If seeking the truth requires us to stand on opposite sides of the courtroom, then so be it. I expect you to defend Miss Cantabella with everything you've got, Mr. Wright.
Court is now back in session. I prepared your High Inquisitor. So long as I remain on the witness stand, I'm no longer High Inquisitor, simply Darklaw will suffice. Miss Darklaw, I'd like to just confirm something. A moment ago, we established that you were in fact present at the bell tower during the time of the incident. That makes a total of 3 people at the stand. It appears that was the case. However, you managed to stay hidden from 10 different guards. Hello, Slash Life. With the help of this right here, the rope of invisibility. In other words, there's every reason to be suspicious of your actions tonight. Deduction? Lady Darklaw, while I cannot believe you would deceive us in such a way, I ask that you tell the court what happened at the time of the incident. Very well. The town square was to be the parade's final stop. Patrol the perimeter to ensure nothing was amiss. As I passed by the bell tower, a pair of small footprints leading inside caught my eye. When I decided to investigate. Should I tell him the truth right now? I had my own reasons for not allowing any one of those vigilantes to see me. I climbed the stairs up the bell tower and saw an intruder inside with their back turned. I proceeded to apprehend them. Back turned? That's a contradiction. You apprehended the intruder? Why hold the position of High Inquisitor? There are often times when I must partake in various secret tasks, unbeknownst to the citizens of Labyrinthia. Unbeknownst? One of those tasks being ensuring the security of the storyteller. Security? As such, there's nothing odd, no suspicious about my actions tonight. Nice. Defender, you may now begin your interrogation. Do you think it could have been the Great Switch bestseller? I mean, the thought must have crossed your mind. Surely you anticipated some sort of resistance. While I hate to admit this, I allowed myself to act rashly without first considering the circumstances. So the second I noticed their presence, I took action. Never did I imagine the intruder would have as much strength as they could. As they did. Perhaps I should have gathered more forces to accompany me. However, at the time I was not thinking straight. I assumed any additional help would not be necessary. What, Lady Darklaw? Through your quick thinking and judgment, you still managed to successfully catch the suspect? Unfortunately, my lord, that's nothing more than pure luck. Exceptional results can only be obtained through exceptional thinking. What do you think? Why she hit you upstairs? Don't quite understand this testimony. Why your testimony making it like this? Still not describing your motives. Okay, you apprehended it, and so what? What happened next? Why look at me when you say that? I learned nothing from this. Looks like that's all we're getting out of here for now. You know, if Darklaw was just going into the bell tower to arrest some intruder, then I wonder why she didn't just come out and say that to begin with. Simple. That information was on a strictly need-to-know basis. Need-to-know basis, huh? That sort of secrecy is pretty common, but usually they've got to have a reason for not disclosing the information to begin with. Darklaw was hiding this information for a reason. That's why we need to find out exactly what she was doing in that tower. We've got to get her to tell us. Hey Nick, at me, or do you feel like we're being watched? Yeah, tell me about it. Wonder what's up with the professor? Something must have happened. There's no way he'd turn on us like this. The professor has been very quiet so far. But surely he must notice there's something that just doesn't add up with Darklaw's testimony. Anyway, there's bound to be something in this testimony that we can use. Just have to make sure we comb this thing from top to bottom for any contradictions. That's right. Can I check this one? Those must mean mysterious footsteps. Footsteps, not footprints. From when she snuck into the bell tower, right? Indeed, the ground outside was quite muddy after the rain, so her footprints were easily visible. As I said footprints, why it was footsteps? Right, according to the vigilante's testimony, they thought their footprints looked like foxes but it turned out they weren't hers. That's right, her footprints will have contained a mark where her stiletto had been. But the footprints I saw at the bell tower contained no heel mark at all. And you stepped inside those footprints on your way up the stairs so as not to leave your own and risk being detected, correct? Exactly. But wait a second, you're not being detected, but footprints still be there. They'll detect someone upstairs and rush here. Doesn't matter one person or two. See, no logic here. At the time, my main task was to ensure the safety of the town square. And doing so, it was of the utmost importance that no one knew of my presence there. Had the townspeople noticed your presence there, it would undoubtedly have raised some suspicion. In it, so naturally that is why I did not wish to be noticed by the vigilantes. Therefore, it was imperative that I mask any traces of my being there, even if it meant utilizing another's footprints. I see. Clever tactic worthy of the High Inquisitor herself. Is there anything off about her testimony just now? Yes, but I don't know what. Mr. Claw, I just noticed something in your testimony that is very relevant to the case. The defense requests you amend your testimony. You just can't help letting that ridiculous imagination of yours run wild, can you? The Inquisition has no objections. Very well, the witness will amend your testimony. There was no heel on their footprints, so as I ascended the stairs, I was careful to match my footsteps to them as far as possible. Don't quite get it. Let's show the sketch.
Objection!
What I have here is a sketch of the footprints left at the bell tower. So tell me, Miss Darklow, are these your footprints in this sketch? It would appear so. I would never mean to offend the hard work of Labyrinth's vigilantes, but tonight's task was mine and mine alone. Okay, when you put it that way, I can't help but notice a contradiction. What did you say? Miss Darklow, you stated the following. When you climbed the stairs, the footprints had no heel, so you tried to match your footsteps to them as far as possible. However, if you look at the actual footprints that were left behind, clearly see that not only is the heel present, but so is the entire foot. If you were trying so hard to step on the footprints already there, then the footprints in this case should have heel marks. That is very true, although I do not think such a small detail is of much importance in the long run. I agree, it's a small detail, Your Honor, but that's not all I noticed. There was something very telling about Miss Darklow's testimony. Telling, you say? She stated that she stepped on to the footprints that were already at the scene in order to disguise her presence. Now, there's something strange there, specifically. Why were these footprints left at the crime scene in the first place?
Objection!
Mr. Wright. Yes, Professor? Tell me, can you show the card why this seemingly minor detail is odd? I can't exactly do that at the moment. Who can say whether or not these footprints are indeed worthy of concern? And if this an issue? Then what exactly are the implications? That above all is what you must answer, Mr. Wright. I do not believe you can assert that. This is a blatant contradiction at this time. There he goes again, flexing that amazing brain of his. What is it, Miss Kira? It's nothing, really. What the heck was that about? Looked like Kira definitely had something she wanted to say just now. It would appear the witness has nothing to add. Lady Darklaw, will you please continue with your testimony? Of course. Anyway, Darklaw shouldn't be able to explain her way out of trouble much longer. There's got to be something more to those footprints. But what? Should I press it again? The exact same statement?
Hold it!
To read all this, isn't it? Or not? Or did not? Not the same, and here presented these footprints. Maybe I don't have anything right now that I can use. Should I press everything one more time? It's kinda stupid.
Hold it!
Let's do it, why not? Nothing was amiss. You mean there was no immediate threat to the storyteller, right? Now you tell me, Defender. Surely you remember the final part of the story. She must mean the part about the storyteller's death. It's a little possibility of changing the outcome of what has already been written in the story. However, there are still those who would challenge the story and make an attempt at changing the inevitable. That's what I do think. What's up, Maya? You notice something? You could say that. Just look at Kira. She's been looking down in the dumps since the start. Alright, Kira, I honestly forgot she was still here. Not only that, she looks sort of scared too. You're right, can't afford to forget about you. I wonder if Kira has anything else she could tell us. Could remember the question here, the second I see an opening. There's no opening, but maybe I should check here, like I was checking the cat.
Hold it!
Like right now, why not?
Hang on!
Looks like not. Something wrong, Miss Kira? It does. Yes. She really doesn't remember your name. You look like you wanted to say something. Did something in High Inquisitor's Darklaw's testimony strike you as odd? No, I'm sorry. I wasn't really listening. She's pretty scared. She must be intimidated by Darklaw. Lady Darklaw, please continue your testimony.
Hold it!
Those must be Miss Kira's footsteps from when she snuck into the bell tower, right? Okay, let's keep it. Oh my... No, when exactly I should question here? It seems like a bug in the text. And that one are it.
Hold it!
And that one I did not. What were those reasons? Related to protecting the storyteller, it was something I was to carry out at that particular time. They perhaps have something to do with what was already decided upon in the story. A storyteller word is absolute, therefore, any and all those
What?
who make an attempt to alter his will must be dealt with immediately. He did it. Excuse me, Miss Kira? Witness! You seem to be deep in thought about something. Did you remember anything regarding the High Inquisitor's testimony? No, I'm sorry, not in particular. Just... I'm a little disappointed in myself. I'm really disappointed that if you didn't read something, you still can skip text in this game. In previous 4 games about Ace Attorney, it's not possible to skip it, so I know for sure you didn't read it. But here, it's different. Disappointed? I traveled all the way here to Labyrinthia in order to fulfill my mission, but all I managed to do was fail and end up being captured. Regardless of your own failure, Miss Kira, the storyteller did die, as was foretold, did he not? Tonight, as the rain came pouring down over the town, I arrived at my designated location. Naturally, the bell tower was surrounded by guards on patrol. 10, to be exact. I was very nervous. She must be talking about the vigilantes. Just relax. You'll be fine so long as you're wearing this robe. I kept telling myself. Little did I know I was wrong. But none of this would have happened if I was just a little bit more careful. Enough. I will be thinking more about atoning for your past crimes and less about what could have been if I were you. Is there anything wrong with Kira's testimony? Should be odd. Hold on 1 second. About your testimony, Miss Kira. You were thinking to yourself that so long as you had your robe on, you'll be fine. Yes, that's right, I was. So basically, you were wearing the robe the whole time you were on the top floor of the bell tower. Is that right? Yes, I had it on the entire time. That is, until I was attacked. And then my robe was ripped off by the wind. Miss Kira, this is the first time we've heard any mention of this information. That's so? I think I must have just forgotten. Your Honor, perhaps we should update this piece of evidence in the court record. Right, Your Honor. Visible only to Alishwood's residents, obviously. Where should I show it? Lady Darklaw, please continue your testimony. So here, looks like.
Objection!
So, the person you saw when you entered the bell tower was actually Miss Kira. The only problem with that is that it would have been impossible. Her plain inside. What are you talking about, Defender? Miss Kira, should I say the witness, stated that while she was waiting on the upper floor of the tower, she was wearing her invisibility robe. Therefore, There's no way Miss Darklaw would have been able to see the witness. You're quite right. Anyone wearing this robe becomes invisible. Right, but there's just one particular group that can see anyone dressed in this robe. And who is that exactly? Only residents of the Eldritch Woods are able to see the robe. If you're from the Eldritch Woods, then you have absolutely no problem seeing this thing.
Objection.
So, what are you saying, Miss Wright? And that Miss Darklaw here actually hails from the Eldritch Woods? Is it correct? And that she knew this girl prior to tonight? That's right, Professor. What is this? A most impressive display, Mr. Wright. However, there's one detail that you appear to have overlooked. Something I overlooked? You say Miss Darklaw saw something she should not have been able to see. However, the truth is that there's one other possibility as to what occurred tonight. Did he just say what I think he said? I'm not sure. It's rather easy to work out. Quite simply, the witness was not wearing the robe in the first place. What are you talking about, Inquisitor? This witness has proven her memory of tonight's events to be quite unreliable. I believe that by the time she climbed the bell tower, she had in fact already removed her robe. What? This as you say, Inquisitor. As you can see, Defender, your assertion is mere speculation, at best. Your little witness here has been lying to the court the entire time. It's as simple as that. That's enough. Miss Kira? Darklaw, how? How could you? How could you simply abandon us? How could you betray us? Betray? Goodness, what is the meaning of this? Lady Darklaw, you're the mistress of the Eldritch Woods. You're the one responsible for handing us our tasks. What? Wait a second, according to long play, there's supposed to be 6 hours, not so short. This wretched girl is nothing more than a detestable spawn of magic. Your words cannot be taken seriously. People of Labyrinthia, I ask you, what am I if not a loyal daughter of this fair town? No, you're lying, Lady Darklaw. When I was waiting up there at the top of the bell tower, I was most certainly wearing that robe. Lady Darklaw, you were also wearing a similar robe, were you not? Don't you remember? What nonsense. I haven't a clue what you're babbling about. I simply managed to sneak right by those makeshift guards. Makeshift. That's not the most demanding of tasks for someone like me. Yes, you're right. That would be true. If you've been sneaking around by yourself. By yourself? Enough. Why is he kicking those auto-progression again? Listen to me and listen well. Continue as you are, and I will see to it that this court be the last place in which you ever set foot. That's not. The end is already nicht. 9. After the events of today, I shouldn't even be here right now. Skira, you're saying that Miss Darklaw was not by herself at the time of that incident tonight? That's right. Lady Darklaw was wearing the invisibility robe, and underneath that robe was a young girl passed out on her back. What? A girl? Could it be? Yes. It was the very same girl imprisoned inside that cage up there. You mean a Spell Cantabella? Order! So the accused was carried up the bell tower? Alert. There's nothing left for me to say. That's the word of the High Inquisitor versus that of a witch. Tell me, who would you soon believe? I would say that each word is equal.
Objection.
Miss Darklow, you of all people should be aware that this isn't a matter of believing or not believing. Friend, those are words that carry no meaning here. The only thing that carries any meaning here, in the courtroom, is evidence. Don't you agree, Mr. Wright? Yes, absolutely, Professor. Well, now, things are beginning to heat up a little, are they not? Fine. Tell me, Defender, have you the means to prove this assertion? Do you actually think you can prove that? That I, the High Inquisitor of Labyrinthia, carried the accused into the bell tower? From the looks of it, Miss Kira was supposed to keep quiet about Darklaw's little secret. But she couldn't deal with all of Darklaw's denials. Finally found the guts. She meant. Can't let Kira's effort go to waste. Don't care what stands in my way. I'm going to find the truth. Your Honor, an offense wishes to present evidence proving that Miss Darklaw did in fact carry my client up the tower. Very well, Defender. Here, present your evidence. Show the evidence that proves Lady Darklaw carried the accused up the bell tower. Well, I only know that the rope was huge. Actually, it's highlighted here right now. But what else do I have? But it's not in the description. Let me show it and next I'll sing. And I failed. And just what may I ask if that's supposed to mean, Defender? Obviously I failed. Why am I even trying to read this? Skip it. Skip all the text. So, the evidence that proves Lady Darklaw carried the accused up the bell tower. But I don't have any proof right now. It cannot be this one. Oh, wait a second, maybe pendant with blood? Still not. Holy shit. Because it happened later. Holy shit. Well, I don't think on this one. So maybe someone's profile? The cat? Why the heck I selected the cat? Holy shit, what am I supposed to show here? When did I save last time? I don't remember. Holy shit. It's not possible to save here. Okay, it looks like not a profile. So one more time, show the evidence that proves that Lady Darkglow carried a speller up the bell tower. Because there were only two footprints.
Take that!
But of course, there was something in your testimony just now that I'm not buying. And that's the footprints that were left at the bell tower. And not just finish admitting that those were my footprints. Mr. Darkglow, you stated the following. There was no heel on the footprints, so as I ascended the stairs, I was careful to match my footsteps to them as far as possible. However, the reality is, the footprints pictured in the sketch actually do contain a heel. That means something must have prevented you from being able to tiptoe along the footprints that were already there. Prevented? You mean? That's right, Your Honor. Mr. Darkglow, when you climbed up the bell tower tonight, you must have been carrying Miss Cantabella on your back. Is that correct? If you remember, it rained quite heavily tonight. That means the stairs must have been quite slippery. With your two hands occupied carrying my client, there would be no safe way for you to tiptoe up the stairs without falling. Falling as well. That's right. That's right, there is the truth behind the footprints on the staircase. Lady Darkglow, you? I must save him. Playing almost 2 hours. How far am I from the end? I'd like to check. Because it seems like it's already over, but why the heck long play was so long? It should be long. Fine, I admit it. It is as you say. I donned the rope and made my way up the tower. But I was not alone. I carried both Espella Cantabella and her little friends up the tower with me. Little friends? But why? The black-furred creatures of hers. The thing is nearly a second from her side. What? 3 streams ago? It's a bogus. She must mean Eve. When I arrived at the top of the tower, I saw this girl already there and called out to her. Wait a second, Eve she assigned the order to her while knocking her out. I was very shocked to see the mistress show up in person like that. The girl's presence was an inconvenience, so immediately put her to sleep. Believe it or not, it's just like you said, Defender. I used what remained of Belduke's medicine to put the girl out of the picture. And that's when Miss Kira put up a fight and pulled this pendant right off your neck, correct? That's right. Cannot fathom it. Fathom? That would mean this pendant actually belongs to you, Lady Darkglow? I just have one question, Miss Darkglow. Why? Why take a speller up the bell tower? Why render her unconscious? And why go for the trouble of sneaking past the guards? Deepness? Oh, let's check. Listen, I know what is Fathom, but is it? Let me explain. Unit of 6 feet used to measure the depths of water? What? This one that I know, but it was something else. Act of truly understanding a mystery. This I didn't know. Act of truly understanding a mystery. That is. Gosh. What exactly was your aim in all of this? I'm in no way obliged to answer that question, Defender. But what makes you say that? Simple. None of this has any relevance to the case at hand. That is why.
Objection!
Miss Darklaw, you rendered the witness unconscious and locked you up to the top of the bell tower. I'll say that is more than a little relevant.
Objection.
Your Honor, if I may. The Inquisition believes the defense's question to be irrelevant to the current case. Professor, what are you saying? It would seem the defense has forgotten a very important point. Normally, the point of this, Mr. Wright. The aim of this trial is to find the identity of the Great Witch bestseller. Whether or not Miss Darklaw locked the witness at the top of the bell tower is hardly relevant to the purpose of this trial. But there's one thing is very clear. And Miss Darklaw knows this witness could possibly be bestseller. What? If either one of the two were bestseller, then there would be no need for them to have used this rope of invisibility. They cannot use any magic, therefore it's inconceivable that either of them could be the Great Witch. A rather straightforward argument, if there ever was one. At the time of the incident, there were 3 people present. Of those 3, 2 used the rope of invisibility to vanish from sight, leaving only one person, indeed, Miss Cantabella. And this in mind, the logic question is, who is bestseller? Is that not obvious? The accused, Espella Cantabella, is the only possible answer. Besides, the accused's voice was heard by all the townspeople, chanting the spell Grainworm. Upset? Everyone may found out that Luke is a robot? And witch?
Objection!
Wonderful. Not so fast. But the thing, these witnesses are extremely irrelevant to this trial. You forget about Miss Kira? She supposedly took a one-way trip into that pit of fire over there. And yet, here she is, in one piece, testifying that she returned in order to kill the ruler of Labyrinthia, the storyteller. Then there's Miss Darklaw, who rendered the defendant unconscious and proceeded to transport her up the bell tower. Saying there's more than enough reason to investigate who these two really are. Only to discover that they are not in fact the Great Witch bestseller? I'm saying there's a possibility that these two are somehow related to bestseller. The court will now announce its thoughts on the matter. I must say, what Inquisitor Layton has stated certainly does ring true. However, Lady Darklaw, I have one question I must ask you. What exactly were you hoping to accomplish here tonight? I assure you, it was not my intent to deceive the good citizens of Labyrinthia. However, I must now reveal the truth to you all. What did she say? Don't think Lady Darklaw is in league with the witches, do you? She can't be. She was the one that saw that other witches. Damn it. Lady Darklaw, are you saying that you are... That's right, my lord. I'm a shade. Shade. Lady Darklaw, will you please tell the court exactly what you mean when you say shade? Yes, of course. I grow weary of standing behind this bench. I'll tell you all I can. What the heck is she trying to pull? Why testify about something that could potentially undermine your credibility? Hello, Kenna. 30 stream streak, as I can see. Well, I'm playing just 3 hours a day. That's why it's long. I was playing as usual like 6 hours, it would be just stream number 6 right now, and I would finish it already. Like 1 week ago. Shades live outside the realm of those who dwell within labyrinth there. To them I am known as the Great Witch. It's the same length as any Ace Attorney or Layton game, I believe. Roughly like 40 hours of gameplay, not 100, like Final Fantasy VII. Those that are put to the flames in the witch trials become shades, who live their lives in the woods. Exist to carry out tasks given to us by our mistress, the Great Witch herself. I'm not a witch, nor am I a wandering spirit. Not on Earth. High Inquisitor Darklaw, do you mean to say that not only are you a witch, but that you are the Great Witch? Unbelievable! Lady Darklaw is the Great Witch. Great Witch? That means she's bestseller? That's right, Lady Darklaw is bestseller. I do hope you have not forgotten what we established only moments ago. It is not possible for Miss Darklaw to be bestseller. But Inquisitor Layton, surely the testimony just now proves it. I find that in the heat of such revelations, you have all misheard the information. It's pointless. This is the extent of what the people of this town will believe. I believe the truth will become clearer during our cross-examination. Don't you agree, Mr. Wright? Defender, you may begin your interrogation. Well, I have several questions here. But first of all, I need to save here. Wasted too much points here. Only 2 left. So literally I can be mistaken only once. No more. Not 2. Let me take another pause. For a minute, be right back. Alright, back as usual. Just trying to understand as well how many of the game left. And it looks like still a lot. Not really close. It's still approximately like 5 hours. Let's see what to do here. Shades live outside the realm of those who dwell. It's alright.
Hold it!
You really don't have any recollection of your old flower selling self, do you? Yeah, have 1 more hour. I don't. When a witch becomes a shade, they lose all memory of their past life. But actually, why? Nothing actually happened to them. They just going through the hole and behind their walls. And so what? They lose their memories, but why? Exactly my question. And yet you used to have some grasp of the concept of magic, do you not, witness? Let me spell it for you. Magic does not exist in the Eldritch Woods. But there were actually lots of things back in the forest that have not seen in this town. There are things that you haven't seen here? Like really huge machines? That sort of thing. And one that spits out fire with such amazing speed and then expels these huge plumes of grey smoke. A machine that spits fire? No, have I heard of such a thing? Are you saying that these machines of which you speak are not simply magic? You know, now that you mention it, I don't think anyone from this town can actually see those of us from the forest. They can't see you? Could be something like that rope? Wait a second, how could they see you not going behind the walls? How can such a thing even be possible without magic? And that's it for her testimony, I guess. What you thinking, Nick? Oh, they finally shipped this item for Game Boy cartridges that I want to get to play actually the first Pokemon games and second generation as well, and extract the save files after I finish the game, and move all the cached Pokemon into 3DS. This one, or the other one that I have. Need to figure out how to do this. Thinking there's something really weird going on with Darklow. Maybe I need to soft-mod it. Really? But how? I mean, just listen to your testimony. He's more than willing to elaborate on some potentially incriminating information. I see a point. The one really trying to put an end to the story could be Darklow herself. I guess, but still. Remember, Nick, we had to save a speller. So let's squeeze every last bit of information we can out of Darklow and clear a speller's name. You know, it could be onto something, but I gather as much information as possible for the time being. So just pressing them?
Hold it!
These tasks you mentioned, were you acting on them this evening? Yes, I was told to come here and become a bestseller. We just want witness. Did you just say become bestseller? Why, absolutely dreadful. Why would anyone be given such a terrible task? Where have these shades come from? Oh, wait a second, I understand. She is not really a great witch. It was not her order, not Darklow's order. But of course. I'm sorry, I don't know why I was given such a task. All I can do is follow the orders I am given. If I can do that, I can return. What do you mean you can return? such is the nature of the shades. Neither human nor witch. Theirs is an existence spent in the shadows. Each of the shades is given specific tasks. Then, upon successfully completing such tasks, they are allowed to return to Labyrinthia as brand new people. But Lady Darklaw, how can they return as brand new citizens when we already know who they were? For instance, we all recognize the former flower seller standing before us. Now that, my lord, remains a secret. But a secret you will come to understand sooner rather than later. Somebody changing their memories. Wait a second, it's like an Attack on Titan anime. Simply baffling. The one who gives us our tasks is the Great Witch. It would be you, Lady Darklaw. I mean, a magnificent one. Actually, what was released first? This game is from 2012? No, I believe the manga was earlier than this. Let's see, it was like 19 years ago. 19 years ago it was what? Like minus 20. 2006, 2007. So Titans were first. Well, this explanation is rot with much I cannot comprehend. Of course, the witnesses added to their testimony. Okay. Lady Darklaw was our venerable mistress. She assigned us our tasks. She was the Great Witch, obviously not.
Hold it!
So, about these tasks, can you give us any other examples? A shade's task must never be discussed with others, no matter what. She's saying that even though she just finished telling us all about your secret task. Incidentally, perhaps remember when you arrived back in town to carry out the orders? Well, not really, my memory is still a little fuzzy. Say, didn't Kira only just recently become one of those shade things? Still, I felt in my task tonight. Come to think of it, when Luke and I had our little run-in with Kira, I remember being blown clear across the marketplace. But it's not like I saw any explosives or gunpowder. Maybe Kira was given the task to blowing you to smithereens, Nick. And, you know, getting back to this testimony. Sure, there's something here that just doesn't add up. What's new here? Look, wait a second. I cannot show anything right now here. That's strange. What's I'm missing here? What if I just question?
Hang on!
Excuse me, Miss Darklaw. That's not a change. Would you like to comment on the testimony we just heard? It seems like something in it attracted your attention. I guess whatever I say, she'll just stand there going nothing, with your eyes closed. Darklaw doesn't make a great witness, does she? Don't you? Me. How supposed to pronounce it? 3 dots. Okay. I didn't want to press this. I pressed left. Alright. Skip it. I'm not going to read any hints. Because it needs hints. Definitely not me. She was saying that she was given tasks or something. But Sam, I am known as Great Witch. But it was not her task, obviously. Great Witch? Yes, that's right. However, I am not bestseller. A mistress to those who dwell in the Elvish Woods is dubbed the Great Witch. Even if I wanted to be bestseller, I could not, as the ever so charming Inquisitor stated earlier. I cannot use magic. Mr. Claw, I have one question. What do you mean by live outside the realm? I mean, just that Inquisitor. You truly do live in a realm separated from this town. Now, surely one as intelligent as yourself has worked out the answer by now, no? Perhaps. It remains to be seen, Mr. Claw. Regardless, there's something we cannot discuss with anyone. But it is something that the defense should be able to prove. That almost sounds like a challenge. By the way, Miss Darklaw, since you're not actually a witch, why do you continue to be called that? To answer that, I must first discover the true identity of the Shades.
Hold it!
So you're saying that the Kira here right now is a Shade version of the Kira from before? Indeed, Defender. The girl has no recollection of her life prior to living in those woods. What manner of witchery is this? Why? This girl, Kira, the flower seller, was cast straight to the flames before our very eyes. That's right, Your Honor. But as you can see, she did not die. You see, there's actually a trick to the incineration device in the witch's cart. A trick. Once the verdict has been delivered, the court's attendants move the steel cage into position, after which it seals shut. Then the cage is dropped down into a pit of fire. The bottom of the cage then opens, allowing the witch inside to escape unharmed into an underground passage. What you're saying is true, Defender, then? What of these towns? Which Persian history? What has been the purpose of all of this? Wait a second, all people in this village were women and I didn't notice some of them sounded like male? Even the knights have indeed been written labyrinthia of witches, however. Nearly a single life has been taken in the process. It is the reality. What? You cannot truly expect me to believe such a ridiculous notion. Your Honor, it's true. Take a good hard look. It doesn't get any more alive than this. It's you. I am I. Well, it's actually my fame. Your forgetfulness. What the heck are you doing? Everyone's gonna recognize you. Yeah, but seeing is believing, Nick. Now they have to believe you. Sure, Takumi originally hesitated to write the script, fearing that two worlds were too incompatible to merge. It's a good thing he reconsiders, as even the most unlikely appearance can create something truly remarkable. Unlikely appearance? That was very likely. It was similar from the very beginning. If they merged it with Resident Evil, or I don't know, what was this? Rockman, what was in English? Why I remember only Japanese names, I don't know. Mega Man. Do you see? Are you satisfied? All those found guilty in the witch trials lose their names, magic and memory. They are then sent to spend their lives as shades in the Eldritch Woods. And the mistress of those shades is the Great Witch. As you can see, this girl, too, has become a shade. I have no more words to express my utter disbelief at this situation. That's enough. Shall we turn to their testimony? Why do I have the feeling things are going to get a lot worse? And so what? Oh, wait a second, so Maya's here, in this case... Something will change?
Hold it!
Nothing has changed.
Objection.
That's you. Miss Darklow, if I may interrupt for just a moment. What is it, Inquisitor Layton? Through your testimony just now, we have all come to understand the process of how one becomes a shade. However, I was hoping you could perhaps elaborate on one additional point. Namely, what exactly is the purpose behind the shades? If you wish to know our purpose, there are certain other things you must first understand. Once you've done that, the answer should be quite clear. And that's right, Defender? The purpose behind the shades? Rest assured, you'll not get the answer from me, as the same goes, the which is in your court, Defender. Sounds like Darklow's challenging me to figure this out. Challenge accepted. What should I figure it out here? There is but one true purpose for the shades that dwell within the Eldritch Woods.
Hold it!
Miss Darklow, what is the purpose of the shades? As mistress to the shades, I cannot disclose the purpose of their existence. Well then, since Miss Darklow is unable to tell us herself, it seems we must rely on evidence instead. Evidence, huh? I do believe the shades could have something to do with that which exists in this town, but ought not to. Something that exists but shouldn't? Well, Defender, I'm prepared to present evidence. But I don't know what is this evidence. I was born ready, Honor. Something that exists in this town, but shouldn't. I think I know what you're getting at, Professor. I'm not. Defender, please present your evidence. Yes, Your Honor. The purpose of the shades could be to make sure this particular thing exists in Labyrinthia. Magic, you mean?
Take that!
I was right. Something that doesn't exist. I have a feeling no one is going to like the answer I'm about to give, and I'll probably end up shaking this town to its core. But I've got to tell them the truth has to come out, so magic does not exist. Since I arrived here in Labyrinthia, there's been no shortage of really strange events. Ignice, Demir, Godor, Goldor, and now Granvir. The mere command of magic is in itself a crime, is it not? In this town, witches are arrested and made to participate in witch trials. They are then sentenced to death by fire. But none of those witches actually died. I suppose death by fire wasn't real. And neither is magic. It doesn't really exist. What are you saying, Defender? The Eldritch Woods apparently contain some rather large machines, unlike anything that exists within Labyrinthia. Machines that emit fire and produce large plumes of smoke. But didn't they kill or not these two guys at the very beginning? To top it all off, the citizens of Labyrinthia are not able to see said machines. Sounds like nothing more than magic. Yes, that's exactly it, Your Honor. Miss Darkcloud. Magic doesn't really exist in this town. That's the answer, isn't it? Magic does not? What utter nonsense! Seems we have finally arrived at the stunning conclusion. The secret behind Labyrinthia. What? What? Order, I say! What's in the meaning of this? It means that all of the magic you've seen in this town was nothing more than an illusion created and put into motion by the Shades. But Defender, the witches, have clearly seen them use magic. Let us take a moment to think carefully about the systems employed by the Shades. Systems? What is essential in order for a witch to use magic? Witch must possess a Talia Magica, I must say an incantation, in order to cast a spell. And the spells able to be cast are determined by the Scepter's magic gems. Now, what do you think is the purpose of placing such requirements on the use of magic? What if somebody would decide to turn into gold everything? What would they do? What do you mean purpose? These requirements are not there to allow the user to cast magic. Rather, the reality is they're there to inform the Shades of who should be using magic. It is possible that witches were always being closely observed by Shades. That's why they donned these robes, to appear hidden until they were needed to create magic. Create? In it, there are all kinds of spells within this tome. It would be quite troublesome if they were simply allowed to use any spell at will. But still, robes somehow existed. This means, it's sci-fi technology, not magic. Yeah, it would make the Shades' job that much more difficult for sure. Precisely so, that is why it was imperative that a certain restriction be placed on the use of magic. You're referring to the Talia Magica, right, Professor? Of course. The one that the Scepter could contain only 2 magic gems. Then there's the incantation. What would happen if a witch could simply whisper the incantation quietly to herself and not even say it at all? Boy, that'd be so cool. I'll be casting spells all day long and no one would ever see it coming. Maya, you spent an entire trial proving that you weren't a witch, remember? If the witches didn't give some sort of signal, then there would be no way for the Shades to know when to cast the spell. Right you are, Mr. Wright. The incantations were a way of telling the shades when the witch was ready to use magic. What on earth? How did I think these requirements could have such a purpose? Now, let's think back to the previous events, leading up to today, that have involved magic. Our first encounter with magic was the use of the spell Ignite a few nights ago. A spell like this was nothing more than a flame spewed from a machine being used by the shades. And that means the mirror? A spell that makes the caster disappear? No doubt about it, it must have been this rope. Next is the incident with Golder, the spell that transmuted me into a gold statue. While I understand this may sound a bit absurd, I can only surmise that the shades created a gold statue in my image, took me and left it in my place the instant the incantation was uttered. Like, how fast is it even possible to do? Professor, it's no more absurd than anything else that's happened so far. We can therefore conclude that all of the magic in Labyrinthia was created in a similar way. What do you say to that, Miss Darklow? I'll expect nothing less from you, Inquisitor Layton. At any given time, there were between 5 and 10 witches in town. All the witches were accompanied by shades at all times. It was easier than you would think. You see, the shades living in the Eldritch Woods total in the hundreds. It was simply a matter of having each of the shades operate in shifts in order to watch over each of the witches within the town. I must say, Lady Darklow, there's quite a number of shades. It was not only those who fell victim to the flames that were turned into shades, but their victims too were made permanent residents of the Eldritch Woods. Then, those two shady thieves from before were turned into shades? That's why they had male shades. Right. Good explanation. Oh yes, you mean Robs and Mugs. Despite their dubious appearance, those two were a couple of my best shades. Shady thieves turn into shades. This stuff writes itself. Can't believe what I have heard. However, there's still one thing I do not understand just yet. And what would that be? As has just been explained, we have established that there is no possibility of magic being real. But replacing me with a gold statue to give the illusion of transmutation, for example, that sounds simple enough. I myself, and presumably also Miss Faye, have no recollection of this replacement actually taking place. Yeah, that's right. Professor got all bling-blingy before I could even bat an eye. It begs the question, how and when was that statue created? Let alone used to replace me, and they knew exactly that he'll use this pose to create exactly the same statue. Gus? What if he didn't use this famous pose? What would happen? Nothing? That is true. The same goes for Godor. It's supposed to create a portal between two green-colored walls. Perhaps that's exactly why the spell can only work on green walls, Mr. Wright? Still, it'll be impossible for the shades to get those portals ready so quickly. I agree. Take a moment to think. It's all a VR simulation. You can see that all of these spells have one strange thing in common. A thing common? Yes, indeed. Almost as if some time between the start and end of the incident was unaccounted for. Furthermore, any memory I might have had regarding the incident seems to have simply disappeared in the process. God, Nick. Just like what happened to Kira. She's got absolutely no memory of her life in Labyrinthia before the trial, right? Hmm? What? But of course. Yes, I don't remember this Kira you speak of. And oh yeah, when you really think about it, doesn't it seem super weird how the Shades are able to return to town if they complete their tasks? You're right, Maya. I mean, the townsfolk are bound to remember some things about them, right? Like how Miss Kira here threw a major hissy fit in court and was barbecued for being a witch. Eloquently put, Mr. Wright. Hence we cannot yet conclude that this entire illusion was primarily accomplished through the use of machinery. Simply put, there must have been some way of affecting the memories of all those within the confines of this town. Missing time and lost memories. Now that is interesting, Inquisitor. You're correct. There is in fact a secret that lies within the depth of the Eldritch Woods. Something that the people of this town cannot see. Something that can rob people of their time and memories. This, the very thing that connects all of what you have heard tonight. This is a secret of monumental proportions. And let me guess. This is a secret that cannot be revealed by the mistress of the Eldritch Woods. Is that right? Yes, an excellent deduction, Defender. Witches' souls wander astray within the Eldritch Woods. Tonight I thought this nothing but a mere fairy tale told to children. It has become clearer that a seemingly large organization lies within that forest. The Witch's Court is the border between this world and the other world. Then that means, in this world, your Labyrinthia's High Inquisitor will also be mistress to the Shades in the other world, otherwise known as the Great Witch. May I intervene for just a moment, Mr. Wright? Sure. In all honesty, there's still something that sticks out as a little odd, particularly in Miss Darklaw's previous testimony. You say the previous testimony? But I pushed that out of my head. There was one vital truth that we managed to take away from that testimony. You mean that magic does not truly exist in Labyrinthia? Indeed, quite the vital, albeit shocking truth. However, there's one more truth hidden within that same testimony. There's something else in that testimony? Let's check the court records more time. I can count, but didn't find a single other contradiction. Have you forgotten already, Mr. Wright? When there's no evidence left, we have but one more weapon at our disposal with which to uncover the truth. Oh hey, I got it, Nick. I didn't get it. Remember, in each trial you can cross-examine two witnesses at the same time. That's right, I completely forgot. Being able to have a look at two testimonies side by side is bound to turn up a contradiction somewhere. And that contradiction should provide us with a much-needed clue. I'm not entirely sure where the professor is going with this, but... Okay, Q, maybe all the citizens here are robots. Not Luke, but people in the city. They're not real human beings, they're robots. That can explain it. I believe in this judgment. Besides, if we are going to blow this case wide open, it's got to be worth a shot. Very well, we'll now take a closer look at Lady Darklaw's previous testimony. This is it. It's Darklaw's previous testimony. There's a glaring contradiction between this piece of testimony and the others. Brace yourself, Mr. Wright. Shades live outside the realm of those who dwell within the labyrinth, same known as Great Witch. It looks like this one.
Objection!
Gosh, I already lost my voice like immediately. Need to take a pause. Hold on. Well, this is bullshit, I would say. This hacking allergy will never end. Anyway, let's continue. So, how Luke could not be a robot? He can be a robot, why not? Your Honor, there's obviously a huge discrepancy between these two pieces of testimony. Miss Darklaw stated that she is known as the Great Witch. However, according to Miss Kira's testimony, Miss Darklaw was her venerable mistress, the Great Witch. She didn't get it. That is correct. She was the Great Witch. Note Miss Kira's use of the past tense. Oh, past tense! Didn't care. Afraid my grammar is not quite what it used to be. May I ask what you mean? Pain from removed tooth? Well, soon it will be summer. Very soon. It's already... wait a second, at the beginning of April. It's simple. Miss Darklaw was mistress to the Shades, but they also called her the Great Witch. Therefore, she is no longer the Great Witch. She's not the Great Witch? It is true. It is as you have heard, my lord. I have relinquished my position as Great Witch in order to fulfill the objective of this task. What would that objective be again? That would be the assassination of the storyteller, Your Honor. Witness, at the beginning of this trial, you stated that you came to town in order to complete your task, didn't you? What's more, you said that you were going to summon the fire dragon to do it. Now this task, it wasn't Miss Darklaw here that gave it to you, was it? No, it wasn't. So then, the most pressing question is, who was it that gave you that task? Who told you to come to Labyrinthia and assassinate the storyteller? cannot tell you, no matter what. Alright, so Darklaw isn't the Great Witch anymore. Which must mean the mastermind behind this entire thing is... It would seem that the defense has worked it out as well. Mr. Wright, you know who really gave Miss Kira her task tonight, do you not? Defender, as that you enlighten the court. Show us who really gave this witness her task to assassinate the storyteller. Well, it's obviously him.
Take that!
The storyteller? We're talking about someone with the authority and power to replace the Great Witch, someone who calls the shots. I don't think of anyone else that meets those criteria, except for the storyteller himself. Preposterous. And that would mean... Exactly, Honor. It means that the storyteller gave this final task to Kira himself. He was shot, responsible for his own assassination. Order in the court. But for what purpose? Why would he plan his own assassination? That I cannot say, Your Honor. However, the final chapter of the story does tell of his inevitable death. While he assigned this task to Kira himself, it's perfectly natural that he would do so. However, what is not natural is your behavior tonight, Miss Darklaw. What was unnatural about the High Inquisitor's behavior? Tell him about the game of witches where it's no witches at all? Soon he'll be playing with the very first Layton. As Alex requested to him, it was not me. I would never request such game to him. You were once the heads of all the shades, and yet tonight you tried to interfere with the storyteller's plan, so sooner or later he'll play this one as well. Maybe in the year of 2035. You rendered Miss Kira unconscious and locked her away in the belfry of the bell tower. That to me seems like the activity of someone aiming to put a stop to his plan altogether. Indeed. Lady Darklaw, what would be the reason for such behavior? I leave that to you, Mr. Wright. Based on what we've seen in this trial, the defense believes Miss Darklaw's reason for covering up her actions tonight can only be attributed to one thing. This plan was handed down by the storyteller himself, and Miss Darklaw was definitely aiming to put a wrench in it. But why? Well, I believe the very first game is actually translated into Russian, and if you use hints on it, and try not to use any hints at all, it would be easy. Betray the storyteller. Why not? There's one possible reason I can think of as to why Miss Darklaw had to hide her actions tonight. She was aiming to betray the storyteller. Betray the storyteller? I agree, Mr. Wright. The storyteller used the Great Witch Bezella to take his own life. Instructions to carry out the plan were given to Miss Kira, however. Miss Darklaw planned to intervene and change the scenario at the very last minute. She planned to do so by changing the identity of the Great Witch from Miss Kira to Miss Cantabella. If they captured Kira, how would they explain that it's the same witch that they already burned? Thus bringing us to our current situation. Miss Cantabella on trial for the murder of her father at the hands of Bezella. You, Miss Darklaw, seem to harbor a rather strong hatred for the storyteller, if I'm not mistaken. A hatred, you say? Yes, I suppose you could call it that. That's right. Behold my revenge. You see, revenge? Miss Darklaw, will you please tell the court of your plan for revenge? If you insist. The High Inquisitor, and also the Great Witch. Long have I donned those two masks. But listen, this detective that trapped in this world for several weeks, maybe. How did he get here? Who invited him there? Long have I donned those two masks. One is Labyrinth's protector, the other its harbinger of destruction. In other words, I was merely meant to serve him. And yet, he sought to selfishly pen the ending of the story under his own terms. Castle of Illusion? For this, I must play every single Mickey Mouse game that was released before it. Namely, Castle of Illusions. There were plenty of them. Isn't it? It was a franchise. I'm not talking about any random Mickey Mouse game, of course, but specific. Yeah, the one that was released in 1990, for example. So no? It is a franchise. Called Illusions. So how many games here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's only 7 games in total. From 2013, it's game number 6. Originally released for PlayStation 3. It's a remake of Sega Genesis Classic? With all new HD graphic and gameplay? Yet then the same franchise here. World of Illusion, starring Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck. Land of Illusion. Legend of Illusion. The Power of Illusion. Disney Illusion Island. Really? They created the franchise here. Related or not. Like Final Fantasy. So, he sought to selfishly pen the ending of the story under his own terms. He did not care enough about me or any of the townspeople to allow us the dignity of deciding our own fate. Well, I can play the very first one for Sega Genesis. In it, what we witnessed tonight was the cowardly act of a man looking for an easy way to end that which he could not properly finish. Cared for no one but himself, hence the sudden charm of an ending. Anyway, I was able to play any other games except this, starting maybe at the second half of May, so approximately in 2 months. All the NES games, Genesis, etc. But not right now. And for that I will never forgive him. Simply because if I play it for 3 hours, but there will be 1 more hour to finish it, I will not be able to continue. What I mean by charm of an ending? The Great Witch Bezel is to summon a dragon of fire and add the life of the creator. Yeah, soon I will be able to play them. When I'll have as much time as I want to play games. She will then be put on trial and judged, thus heralding a period of peace and prosperity for all of Labyrinthia. Such is the ending written for this town and its people. It's not an ending I oppose in principle. Who would not wish a happy ending for their own people? However, the problem lies in Bezella's identity. Bezella's identity? As you know, he assigned the role of the Great Witch to this girl beside me. But you're saying that was a falsehood. Is that correct? I knew Bezella's true identity. It's not something I could ever forget. That is why I went to the bell tower, and that's why I took the accused there. I did it to ensure that true witch, foretold in the story, was given the judgment she was due. The true witch? You don't mean? Yes, I speak of none other than Spella Cantabella.
Objection!
Miss Darklaw, there's a glaring contradiction in your statement. And what would that be? Supposedly common knowledge that Bezella is capable of using all magic. However, that is far from the truth. Magic does not actually exist in this town. It was all one giant illusion created by the Shades. Therefore, the Great Witch Bezella cannot exist either. You fool. Who said that? Defender. You really don't have a clue, do you? What? Wait just a minute now. Is the Defender not correct? If magic does not exist, then it goes without saying that witches do not exist either. And that would include the Great Witch, would it not? That's right. They've been lying to us this whole time. Dastards. Dastards? What is dastard? So isn't real.
Objection.
Mr. Wright, there's a fundamental mistake in your argument. What do you mean? Have but one simple question. What exactly is Bezella? Well, she's supposed to be the head of all witches? Allow me to reword the question. The Great Witch Bezella is the root of all disaster within Labyrinthia. Knowing that, what specific disaster might she have been the root of? That would be, just thought of something. We've been hearing Bezella's name left and right since we got here, but not once has the real Bezella shown up in person. Indeed, Miss Fane, Bezella herself has been virtually absent from the story thus far. But Inquisitor, did she not claim the life of the storyteller tonight? Rolled fighter? I remember when Foxy had problem with Super Spy Hunter. Despite in my childhood, I don't remember it was a hard game. But yet again, he finished Makai More without any problem, and I know for sure that it was a hard game. What will be about Road Fighter? Need to check it out. Concerning this, which particular stories every citizen of Labyrinthia most familiar with? Well, that would have to be the legendary fire, right? Precisely. Surely you're not serious, and the name implies. That is but a mere legend. No one knows for certain if it occurred. So they say. But the reality is, there's still traces of that terrible fire within that town today. The professor's right. We've even seen some of it up close and personal. Yeah, at the Great Archive. But nobody fixed it, I still don't understand why. You're indeed correct, Inquisitor. Littering throughout the town are burnt remnants of a fire most fierce. However, no one can say for certain what transpired back then. You see, not a soul saw what actually happened. Let me see if I have this straight. There's an entire town full of people and no one saw what happened? Correct. Except for one particular person. What? There's one person who saw everything. I'm speaking, of course, of the group 1 responsible for the fire itself, the Great Witch Bestseller. Am I going to finish this chapter? Yes, because I'm going to play till I get the skin to be continued. I remember it. All of it. Spell, what are you seeing? When I close my eyes, I can picture it so vividly. The awful sight of the flames engulfing everything they touched. The scorching heat on my skin, the smell of burning cinder all around me. The large plumes of black smoke, the warm tears streaming down my face. I remember it all. What you're calling now is the moment the Great Witch Bestseller destroyed our town. Well, it appears my role here is finished. As for the rest, I leave it in your capable hands, Inquisitor. She's simply vanished in the thin air? Dark she. Just vanished in the thin... You repeated my words! What the heck? She's right. These memories are proof that I'm Bestseller. But Speller is right. Remember, if you will, what I said at the beginning of this trial. Came here to prove that... not this trial, you came in the middle of this trial. Came here to prove that Spella Cantabella is in reality the Great Witch Bestseller. Right. There's still one more thing I wish to present to the court. I would now like to call the final witness to the stand. The final witness? The storyteller.
Hold it!
But of course, it would appear he has arrived. Ladies and gentlemen of the court, I give you this trial's final witness, the storyteller. And just like that, he appeared. The man who died not hours before. And the victim of this very trial, the storyteller himself. The professor should choose one heck of a final witness. Morning is drawing closer and closer. How this trial will end is anyone's guess. You can check someone's long play on the internet. So, according to long play, there's like 4 hours left, and I doubt we'll finish it tomorrow. Maybe I would be able... if I start earlier, for example. I have no idea. It's supposed to be in the epilogue? The first story. Why am I having deja vu? Some sort. I don't quite know what to say. I'm truly shocked. To see the storyteller again, alive and well. This was unexpected to me too, as I did not plan to appear before you all again. I was convinced that you would all see the last of me at the parade. But it's the trial for your murder, and you're alive. Yeah, see? No one was killed. So let's call this whole thing off and never have witch trials again. Well, Maya, take it easy. We're still in court, remember? But what the point of this? The storyteller wasn't killed. Well, the point is to figure out who's witch and who is not. Nobody cares here about death. Speller would never do anything to harm her dad.
Objection.
If only it was as simple as that, to end this trial. However, it is not, Miss Faye. But Professor, search your memory and you will know the reason why. The crime Miss Cantabella is accused of is not just murder. The purpose of the witches' court is to sentence the witches for what they are. Isn't it right, Mr. Storyteller? I fully intend to expose the true identity of Basella, and this would not be possible without you, Mr. Storyteller, on the witness stand. I see. And so, you assumed the role of an inquisitor just to lure me here? Be that as it may, the Inquisition still maintains that Espella Cantabella is the Great Witch Basella. That. It's been a long time, Espella. 4 years, in fact. Just 4, so like 10 at least? 15? You must have experienced many hardships, even among the townsfolk. This thought of mine never fits in with the others, no matter how hard she tries. No, it wasn't quite like that. There were people who supported me. And Potty was very kind, and the customers who came to our bakery were nice to me. I'm happy to hear that. I wanted to watch over you, ever since you left for the town. But in the end, I failed to do so. I had no idea of what was happening to you. I would not. I'm not watching anything myself. If Creighton would watch it, but you need to request it to him. Can't you not requesting anything at all? I'm very sorry, Speller. For that, you don't need to apologize to me for anything. It's me that owes you an apology. I was trying to hurt you. It's all my fault, not yours. There's no reason for you to blame yourself. I'm happy we got to talk. Speller. You were so busy writing everyone's stories that we stopped talking to each other. Before it was different. You still have time for me. Please forgive me. Why did it have to come to this? Mr. Storyteller, it's time to put everything in order now. Background 1? The townsfolk and your daughter deserve to know the truth. The truth about yourself and the story. Yes, I suppose it is time I told you the truth. Your Honor? Yes, Mr. Storyteller. Let us begin. In this trial, I shall be judged. Understood. The witness shall testify. People of Labyrinthia, who have gathered in this court, I will now tell you the true story. Many of you will certainly find it hard to believe and difficult to accept. Nevertheless, I ask you to please lend me an ear and listen with open minds. Speller, my dear daughter, ask you to do the same too. Although you know me as the Storyteller, I have one more identity. I am the president of Lambrellum Incorporation. Sci-fi story just now. The whole town is one of Lambrellum's research facilities. It may be hard for you to comprehend. This land is rich in a very special substance, which affects everyone who lives here. This substance enables the manipulation of people's minds, and that is what Labrellum is researching. This experiment began 10 years ago. The townsfolk all became test subjects. Shouldn't he be arrested because he is doing it against the British Constitution? I don't understand. What does it all mean? Don't quite understand what I've just heard. I don't blame you. I suppose all the townsfolk are just as confused. Labyrinthia is an artificial town created entirely by me. But you say townsfolk, so then they were living here, now they tested. Or where did you get them all? But of course. Or they all employer who actually signed the contract. As artificial as it may be, is the reality for those that live here. For the past 10 years, I've been bringing the illusion to life by writing the story. Lost for words. Feels as if the whole world has been turned on its head. Your Honor, it's certainly not an easy matter to grasp this new situation at once. Regardless, I suggest we hear more what the witness has to say. Yes, I agree. Let's continue. The defense may begin the interrogation. Thank you, Honor. Maybe here I would like to stop. Let's save it here. I believe it's possible to save. Also, it's better to check how many puzzles left. Supposed to be just one, yeah. Number 70. Alright, that's it. I'm not sure if it's possible to finish this game tomorrow, because looks like epilogue is super long, but who knows. Depends. And Lucas Robot, by the way, where's Luke right now? He simply disappeared from the plot, like never existed. Let's see who's online right now. And who? Where? Maintenance? Oh, wait a second, Philemon is online. Let's rate him. Why he's online actually? I don't know. Again, Twitch application doesn't show me that I started the rate. Let me restart it. Alright, that's it. That's all for today. Let's continue tomorrow. Tomorrow is what? Saturday. Okay, maybe on Friday I'll finish it, but tomorrow I will be streaming anyway. Changing oil on ear controllers. Good night, Scope. See you next time. Tomorrow. Bye. Good night.